Hi, this is a sneak peek, a short one from the course I'm working, Spine 2D animation, and I'm already halfway there finishing it. I'm determined to really finish it as soon as possible, hopefully in the summer, a lot of free time. Anyway, I'm showing portion of the section where I will be explaining transform constraints. I prepared 3 sets of bonds. At the top in purple, you can see the bonds that are made for being constrained, and at the bottom you will see the bonds that will serve as target. So let's start from first one. Select the purple bond, transform constraint, and the target bond. Right away we can click match, link the sliders so we move them all at once, and that's it. Our constraint is ready. Let's constrain next one so we can see the difference. Create constraint, select target bond, click match, link sliders, and set the full value. This time I want to set local. So let's do that. Notice the bond just jumped at the bottom. This happens because we clicked match before setting to local. So whenever you want to use local, make sure to click match after you set that property. We can fix that by just removing mix value, setting to 0, then clicking match, making sure local is set, and then bringing back the mix value again. Now we have them ready to be tested. Let's select both target bonds and move them. They look identical. So what is the difference? Let's rotate them. I see the difference now. What happens actually that the first set world transforms of target bonds are being copied and actually override the world transforms of this bond. So constraint bond will be moving as nested bond to target bond. And that's why we pretty much see that. And the important thing that we already can't move this because, as I said, it's being overridden. Sure, you can click here and select transform constraint, set some in between mix value. So you have both. I get that this set is set to local, and that's why when I rotate it, it rotates in local space, while this one rotates in world space. I understand that. But what happens when we move it? Why don't we see this bond moving in local space? For example, if I select these 2 bonds and move them in local space, they will clearly move differently because they have rotation difference. This is 0, this is 19. If I set them same rotation, we should see them moving in the same world. So note that this set is still not constrained. This is just bonds moving in local space. That's what I would expect if I move this. So what actually happens, instead of copying local transform from this bond to this bond, it copies parent transform. Not the world, but parent transform. So why still we don't see the difference? Because they both are sharing the same parent. Let's fix that. I'm gonna create 2 bonds here and put them accordingly next to their bond. Let's see if we see the difference. Not yet. So we need to make sure parents are at different rotation. We will for sure see the difference. So what happens when we set local in transform constraint? Rotation, scale, and share are being copied from local space, from target to constraint bond, but translate is being copied from parent space. The whole idea of Spine is to make everything super intuitive. And there are a lot of stuff that sometimes just conflict with each other or it's not clearly explained in the official documentation. And I get the idea. They try to not overload our workflow, making things intuitive. And if you need something, you just need to try a little different combinations, maybe local with relative, maybe relative with some offset. And yeah, something will finally work out for you. Final one is the relative property. Let's create constraint, click relative. You can see match is disabled right away because it really doesn't make sense. Even after constraining it fully, we can clearly move the bond, rotate, do whatever we want with it, scale, share. The constraint will still fully work. That's the beauty of it. It's relative. It's pretty much adds world or local transforms of the target bonds to the constraint bond. It's just adding and not overriding. So that's why you can move it and it will still be added over it. There might be some problem that you just set rotation, but not fully. And now you want to rotate it. After some point, you will see it will snap. This is really not a good behavior. To fix this, you can set a local property. This will make sure that it will be added locally, and that will clearly avoid all that rotation snapping. Feel free to also experiment a relative with local